Every spring, we get a lot of questions about what to do with our roses, how we're going to prune them, how we're going to care for them as we go through the year. So I'm going to go through some of the basic steps to help make sure your roses are successful for you this year. So you go out there, right now is really the time we want to go out and start cutting back the roses, getting the dead out of these plants and doing some cleanup and getting us prepared for the rest of the year. The first thing that we're going to want to do is come in and do some sanitation. And you can see here, we've got some leaves from last year that are at the base of these plants. We're going to want to clean all this up. In fact, I'll probably want to rake out some of this mulch, and then before I put down a new layer of mulch, I'll get a balanced fertilizer, you know, kind of a typical garden fertilizer, a 10-10-10, something like that. Sprinkle about a cup or so around the plant, about 6 inches away from the base of the plant, but evenly spread that around the plant. And then I'll put down a new layer of mulch. So that'll get us off to a good start. We'll sanitize the area, and that will help prevent some of those things that may concern us, like black spot, powdery mildew, some of those things that may carry on through the rest of the year. The next thing that we'll do is go in and start evaluating what we want to do with some pruning. And you can see with this plant, we have a lot of dead in it, a lot of dieback, and so we're going to want to come in and cut these back. And so what I usually look for is I'll probably drop down to the second good bud, outside bud on a cane, and then I'll cut about a 1/4 inch above that at a 45-degree angle. And so that will help remove any of that, if we have a canker or anything else going on, get that all off of that cane, and we're down to some good wood. And then as it grows, that bud will then grow outward, and so that'll help with some of our air circulation, help prevent some of those diseases that we may get through the year. So roses like to have even moisture. So one of the things we want to look at with irrigation is try to avoid overhead irrigation. I know we hear that a lot on the show, and certainly with roses, that's one of those. So if you have some sort of drip hose or you water at the base of the plants, again, that just kind of helps eliminate some of that moisture that we're adding to it beyond the rain and the dew and stuff that the roses have to deal with through the year. And then as we go through the year, just kind of keep an eye on it. If you're close to, like we are here, close to a sidewalk, we're going to make sure that we don't have canes encroaching onto the sidewalk so people are snagging on that, or within your landscape where you're mowing or where you're working around that, make sure that you do some of that, keep things pruned back. As you can see here, I'm wearing leather gloves. That's always something to think about, a heavier pair of gloves while you're working around roses. I make sure my pruners are nice and sharp so I have nice clean cuts, and we want to use a bypass pruner. We don't want to use an anvil type pruner, so we don't want to crush those stems. So make sure your pruners are sharp and clean and ready to go. You should be off to a good start with your roses this year.